Hi y'all, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a minute since I posted anything. It's actually been a minute since I've recorded anything because honestly just been busy with work. I've also been watching the Summer League as of recently too. I've been, I think, about 3 games already, or 3 days, sorry, because I've been watching my Denver Nuggets play and all that stuff. So I've just been really busy. So in today's video, I really just want to go over a topic that I've really been wanting to talk about as of recently. The reason why I've been wanting to talk about it is because there hasn't been really anything going on in the NBA whatsoever. So I think it would be pretty fun to go over this topic, and that is, who is the most underrated team in the NBA right now, and where can they be at the end of the regular season? Now, I'll do a little deep dive based off of the roster, the analytics, and the coaching. Like I said, I feel like this is a fun topic. The offseason has been fun up until now. It's been kind of boring, and the Summer League is going on. So, obviously that's taking, hold of everybody at the moment. Nobody really cares about what's really going on the deep dive, or the GMs and shit. Nobody cares about rumors right now, none of that. They want to watch young guys hoop out at the Summer League and then, get little news breaks. But today, like I said, I want to talk about an underrated team that I've been keeping an eye on. And today they just made a big move. And I think it's very fun and interesting to go over this topic of who's the most underrated. And I think this team falls under that category. So let's get into it. Now, before I go into this topic, I want to discuss what underrated means. Now, the definition of underrated is not rated or valued highly enough. This team is the definition of that right now as we speak. And that team is the Portland Trailblazers. Now, the reason why I want to talk about the Portland Trailblazers is because of the situation they are in right now, how they've looked this past offseason, and the moves they have made, and then where they will probably rank at the end of the regular season. Now, before we discuss how they will end up at the end of this regular season, we need to first talk about how they did last season. Now, the Portland Trailblazers this past season finished 12th in the Western Conference and finished 36-46. Now, the Trailblazers in this moment at the end of the offseason are in this weird predicament where they really haven't done a whole lot this offseason up until today, this afternoon, I believe. They got Damian Lillard back to Portland. Now, a lot of people may not understand, his career's over, his career's done. He's 35 or 36 years old. He's going back to Portland. He was just ring chasing with the Bucks for 2 straight seasons and then didn't get anywhere. Now he's in this weird predicament where he's back in Portland. He's just not going to get a ring. Now, for all you casuals out there, I will just say one thing. Shut up. Just shut the fuck up. The reason why I say that is because Damian Lillard going back to Portland is a great thing for not just him, for the Portland Trailblazers as well. I mean, I know Damian tore his Achilles this playoffs this year. He's not going to be back probably till playoffs of this year if they do make it. And I understand that he's probably not going to play as good as Damian was before because he tore his Achilles. I totally understand that. But we are talking about Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard. We're talking about game time, Dame time. We're talking about one of the, that top 75 NBA players. Now, a lot of people may not understand that Damian Lillard going back to the Trailblazers is a great thing. They got Jrue Holiday. They got rid of DeAndre Ayton's contract. They gave him, to the Lakers, not in a trade or anything, but they just still got rid of his contract. They re-signed Jabari Walker. Now they, get Damian Lillard back. I think this team is meant for success. Maybe not a championship now, but maybe a pretty solid team. Now, the first thing I want to do is go over the Trailblazers roster at the moment, or at least the top 10 guys that I think will probably produce for this team. Now, we'll start off with Damian Lillard, of course. Then we got Jrue Holiday and Shayna Sharp, Denny Avdija, Scoot Henderson, Donovan Clingan, Hansen Yang, Toumani Camara, Robert Williams III, and Matisse Thybulle, and Jabari Walker. Now, just off of those names alone already give me a sense of either play-in team 10, 9, 8, or 7, or at least the bottom seeding, at least 6th place, but not anywhere above that. respectfully. The Trailblazers are a mixture of a young/veteran team. They got a lot of guys, obviously, like Damian Lillard, and then a champion in Drew Holiday and stuff. And Robert Williams III, who was on a winning Celtics team that obviously never went to the finals or the championship. Oh, he went to the finals, actually, against the Warriors and lost. Forgot about that. Now, the Trailblazers, like I said, mixture of both veterans and young talent. The Trailblazers have a pretty solid team, in my opinion. Damian Lillard, obviously, he's not going to be playing anytime this regular season. He's cooked for the year. Obviously, his Achilles. It doesn't matter. I still think that the Trailblazers are a valuable team. Either or, with or without Damian Lillard, I think they could sneak their way into the play-in. They almost did it last year with a young squad like that, and I don't see why they can't do it this year. Oh, and I almost forgot. Jeremy Grant, if they don't trade him, which they probably are, but for now, they also have Jeremy Grant. I almost forgot about that. Cannot forget Mr. Denver Nugget himself. So just to give you a breakdown of what this roster could look like and how the lineup will go, I will just give you a brief little analyzation of how I think the team could run. Now, the team can run like this. Drew Holiday at the 1, Shayna Sharp at the 2, Jeremy Grant at the 3, Denny Avdija at the 4, Donovan Clingan at the 5, the 6th man, obviously Scoot Henderson, the 7th man, Toumani Camara, and the 8th man would be Robert Williams III. The 9th man would be Matisse Thybulle, who probably won't even play anyways. Who might? You never know. He's just a little bit worse. Toumani Camara. Now for that regular season lineup, that could honestly be a pretty solid team in my opinion. Hell, you could even give Scoot and Drew almost the same minutes. He could just still be the 6th man, obviously. And then you got Shayna Sharp, who's proving himself more and more every single year that he plays. You got Jeremy Grant, who's going to at least give you 17 at least every single night. Not on a good shooting volume, but at least a decent shooting volume. And then Denny Avdija, he was a hooper out in Washington. He hooped out last season for the Trailblazers, didn't do too bad. And I don't see why he can't do good this year as well. He was a triple-double machine at Washington. Wasn't a consistent triple-double guy, but he can get you a pretty solid 32 minutes, 33 minutes, and provide some good value. And then Donovan Clingan, a second-year guy who I think could be pretty solid, 7-footer, good rebounder, and I think he could play better than DeAndre Ayton played for the Trailblazers, because I don't think Ayton fit in that system whatsoever. Now, all of these lineup situations that I have in my head that include Damian Lillard and don't include him, I can always see Jeremy Grant being on the team. Now, the fact of the matter is, if they can trade him to get some decent bench pieces and another solid starter for the team, I don't see why not that they can get into the play-in at least in the 7th spot or the 8th spot. This team is not bad. I feel like they're just one more starter away from being a top 6 seed. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like they have the good veteran squad here, and I feel like they also have a good defensive squad. For example, Toumani Camara is a great defensive guy. Avdija is not bad. Clingan gives you interior blocking skills. Drew Holiday is still a prime defender at his age. And then you still got Matisse Thybulle still deep in the bench that can also play defense as well. And Robert Williams III is known for playing some decent defense. And then Scoot Henderson is not a bad perimeter defender. He's not bad at all. So the Trailblazers have a perfect mix of just everything that you would really want in a team. Like I said a million times before, a mix of veteran guys and younger guys, and a good mix of some pretty good offense and some pretty decent defense. Now, let me just say, if Damian Lillard is able to play in the playoffs and they make the playoffs, I don't see why not that they can sneak their way in from the play-in and make it, through that top 6 seed. Top 8 seed, top 6 seed, and play super well. I don't see why not. Now, could they upset a team? Maybe. If Damian stays healthy and this team stays healthy, I don't see why they can't upset a team and make not a deep run, but a decent run, enough of a big time run where next season, in the off season, they go out and get a bigger, better veteran and maybe trade guys like Toumani Camara if he doesn't play well, or maybe finally get rid of Jeremy Grant's contract if he doesn't play well, and just keep building from there. They have a squad, and if Scoot Henderson can, upgrade his game just a little bit more, that team is solid as fuck. Now, the Trailblazers are, like I said before, an interesting team because Damian Lillard not being able to play this whole regular season possibly sucks. Now, the reason why I say it's unfortunate that Damian Lillard cannot play this regular season and he's hurt is because the Trailblazers don't have a scoring edge like that. If they had Damian Lillard this regular season, Jrue Holiday is not really known for his scoring ability anymore. He's more known as a defensive guru and a guy that will go, throw the ball to you and you better score and get him some assists. And he's not a bad rebounder for a point guard. And guys like Donovan Clingan, he can score in the paint a little bit, but he's not going to pull up threes and shit from deep and hit threes as a center. Denny Avdija can give you some offensive ability as well. Jeremy Grant, his shooting percentages are fucking dog shit. Just look at it from this past season. It was no bueno. The shit was ass. And that's why he's kind of on the trading block still to this day, just like he was when the trade deadline hit this past season. Shannon Sharp can give you at least 20 if he really just puts his mind to the game and just goes crazy like he has been this past 2 seasons. Scoot Henderson, I'm craving for him to get some scoring ability in his game. And if he can just do that, he will blow up. His numbers will go crazy. His scoring ability will go crazy, and that's what the Trailblazers really need while Damian Lillard is out this regular season. Robert Williams can give you some decent backup minutes. Toumani Camara will come in and get you a few steals and turnovers and some fast breaks. So this team is destined for at least a playoff run. Now mix all of that with just a little bit of Damian Lillard. I don't see why they don't have a solid team. This team is great. Now, this past regular season, Damian Lillard actually averaged 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists and 1 steal. And he's still producing at this age that he's at. If he can come back for the playoffs, if the Trailblazers do make the playoffs, I don't see why he can't go out there and ball out if he's fully healthy and fully recovered. Now we'll go on to Jrue Holiday's stats, and he averaged 11, 4, and 3, and 1. So 11 points, obviously, and then 4 rebounds, and then 3 assists per game, and then a steal per game, obviously, is what I was trying to say. Now, Jrue Holiday, like I said before, is not averaging 19 points or 20 points anymore. He's just doing what he can to get a team to the playoffs and go stupid and try to provide some decent defensive ability and just, like I said before, go stupid. Now, Shannon Sharp averaged 18, 4, and 2 this past season. He is finally just blowing up out of nowhere. He was averaging 15 the season before that in his sophomore year. He's just getting better and better every single year. And it's so much fun to watch him just keep going up from here because even in his rookie season, he was averaging 9 points per game. And now he's on the steady rise of averaging almost 20 a game. He's got crazy athletic ability. He can jump through a ceiling and he can just go crazy if he really decides he wants to. And a mixture with Jrue Holiday and Damian Lillard and then Shannon Sharp is a duo or a trio that I think a lot of teams are actually going to be scared of, and a lot of teams are actually going to probably underrate, like I said earlier, and go, oh, well, that's not a good team. They got 2 older guys and then Shannon Sharp, who's a little young. That team is made for disaster. No, it's not. I think this team could do some pretty cool things together, especially with that 3 alone. Now, if you throw in Denny Avdija, who is averaging 16, 7, and 3 and a steal per game, that's even more better because he's not going to go crazy or whatever. He's not going to give you 20 every single night. But this past season for the Trailblazers, it was his highest career in points per game, which also means he's also steadily going on a rise here. And his rebounds are there as well. And his assists is not always going to be great, but averaging 3 assists, 3.9 assists per game is not bad either. So they need that from Denny Avdija. And I think he can provide some pretty great ability for this team and get some solid rebounds and also score pretty well as well. Now, moving on to Jeremy Grant, he was actually averaging 14, 3, and 2, and he was shooting a low 37% from the field. Now, like I said earlier, he was shooting like fucking shit. This is actually the worst he shot since his rookie season, and he's been in the league, I think, almost 8 years now. Absolutely absurd from Jeremy Grant here. And this is why I said that I could see him getting traded or not even being on the team at all at the end of this regular season, or by the trade deadline. There's no way they keep him. And if they do, he's got to be averaging at least 22 like he was in Detroit. He's just not as good as he was anymore. And I think it's just because he doesn't fit the Trailblazer system. They don't really do the whole 3-point thing. They really like to go on the interior, but as of now, of course, they're looking for 3-point shooters. They got Damian Lillard, and then Shane Sharp is obviously trying to upgrade his game. And then, Drew Holiday is more of a, paint kind of guy or interior kind of guy. And Donovan is an interior kind of guy. And Denny Avdija can do a little bit of both. But Jeremy Grant shooting, like I said, 37% is just fucking disgusting and absurd. They can honestly just try to get rid of him. I think he has a $29 million contract or a $24 million contract. I think it's 29. That's pretty bad for a guy that shoots 37%. If they can get rid of him, this team could get a little bit better. But if he actually starts averaging 18 or 17, that's all they really need from him. He can average one of those two numbers. I don't see why this team can't be destined for success. Now, Donovan Clingan in his rookie season was averaging 6 and 7 and almost 2 blocks per game and almost a steal per game. It was 0.5. I know it's not almost, and he was also averaging 1 assist per game. Now, like I said before, Donovan is an interior kind of guy. He's not going to go shoot 3-pointers and all that crazy shit. He shot 28% from the 3. He's not going to be pulling 3s and shit. He's going to go straight into the paint and try to dominate whoever is in the paint with him on the other team. 6 and 7 is not bad. He almost averaged 8 rebounds. And for a 7-footer, that's not bad at all. Like I said, he's averaging more rebounds than I think Zach Edey. And Zach Edey's like 7'2", 7'3". So shout out to Donovan Clingan. Like I said, if he can just go in the paint, get some good rebounds, and kick it out to Damian Lillard or Drew Holiday or whoever, this team is great. And then Scoot Henderson as well. It's just going to be even better. And speaking of Scoot Henderson, he was averaging 12, 5, and 1. So 12 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists. And he was also averaging a steal per game. Now, his numbers went down, his points per game went down, but his assists and his rebounds and his steal kind of stayed the same, honestly. So, like I said before, Scoot is honestly not a bad player. And then Toumani Camara is not bad. And then Robert Williams is not bad neither, a veteran guy. And then Matisse Thybulle, also a veteran guy who played with 76ers team with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Now, this team is destined for greatness. If they can get in the playoffs, which I'm pretty sure they are going to be so desperate to try to get into that playoff spot or the play-in spot, so when Damian comes back, he can just come back and kill if he is healthy. This team could be great, especially since they have Chauncey Billups as their head coach. They almost got into the play-in last year, and they just couldn't do it. And now this year they have a great team, and Chauncey Billups is the head coach once again. This team is destined for success. He's got to get this team in the play-in, and I think he knows that, and I think the team knows that. And once, if they are in the play-in and then they can get Damian Lillard back, if they make it past the play-in, this team could be great. So now we're at the end of the video. Like I always say, thank you guys for watching this video so much. In conclusion, the Trailblazers could be great. This team could honestly make the playoffs and try to go crazy and go stupid and just find some sort of rhythm. If they can do that, this team is destined for success. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to make the finals and all that crazy shit because that's just a little overboard. But this team has the skill set. They have the young players, the veteran guys, and they have a former NBA player in Chauncey Billups who is a great coach. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I love y'all, man. And check out some of my other videos too, man, if you get the chance. So, yeah, I'll see y'all later, man. Shout out Chauncey Billups. Peace out. See you on the flip side.